Welcome to Secure the Bag Week 16 NFL Picks. It's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Strizzy, fam. Let's get this money.
Right? I'm going to need that extra Christmas cash. You know what I'm
feel
saying?
A little bit extra on top. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Santa, you know what I'm saying? Santa needs some deposits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you feel me? You feel me? Because all the thing going on right now is withdrawals, my boy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I see it going left and right. You know what I'm saying? And inflation done hit Santa too. You know what I'm saying? Even the North Pole is not, you know what I'm saying, is not immune to that. So, no, but you know what it is, what we're here to do. We're here to get it in for our all 16 picks. We're going to do our money line picks, and then later in the show, we're going to be three locks against the spread. And so we will get to that in just a second. But last week, we had a very close race on our money line side. Got to give a shout out to Moms and Stephanie for having 14 out of 16 picks correct. Mm-hmm. So shout out to them. Stephanie took home the tiebreaker, so she got that Super Bowl square. But again, if you're not competing with us, there's still time. We're going to do this through the playoffs, and of course, in the playoffs, you know, it becomes very strict on those tiebreakers because there's not a lot of games to pick from. So you can still earn Super Bowl squares. And then on the other note of that, the Super Bowl squares are for sale already. So hit us up if you want to buy some extra squares. And if you won some during the year, we'll make sure you get that grid so that we can all have something to root for. Speaking of that, we got Anthony Weston in the building. He's had something to root for. He's had something to root for the past few Super Bowls. We'll see if he has that again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go ahead and lead us into our picks. And the other thing I'm going to do a little bit differently since we're a little bit later in the year, only 2 weeks left after this week, is I am going to give you the playoff clinching scenarios for the games where people can clinch. So
nice.
We'll do that as well. And then we'll know, you know what I'm saying, if these teams have a little something extra to play for. Mm-hmm. Starting tonight, Thursday night football, we've got the Broncos at the Chargers, a good division matchup. The Broncos, and I'm actually going to – well, I can't pause it, but it is what it is.
The
Broncos, they will win if they're in the playoffs, if they win, or if Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Miami all lose. So they have some lost potentials, but if they win, they're in. On the Chargers side, if they win and the Colts and the Dolphins lose, they are in. So the AFC is the most undecided out of either side. Yep. But the Dolphins, with their tough schedule, who would have think that they would be in a chance to clinch the playoffs? So, Strizzy, let me know, what do you think in tonight's game, Broncos at Chargers?
Yeah, man, for some reason, the Chargers team, they've been great on defense all year, but for some reason, and they've had some pretty decent offensive games too, but for some reason, this team is just flying incredibly too much under the radar for me. And like you said before, this is one of the games I was looking at too, because like you said, if the Broncos win, that they're in. And I think they take care of business tonight, man. Thursday games are always really weird. With you don't get too much time between games. You know what I'm saying? Just playing on Sunday, and I'm looking for kind of an upset tonight. A lot of people got the Chargers, but I'm taking the Broncos. I think Broncos win this one.
Yeah, see, I feel you. Looking at this right away, I'm I'm thinking Chargers, but this is really a coin flip for me. The Broncos actually have the better record of the two teams. If you look at it based on talent alone, you'd say Chargers, but the Broncos play better. They have a nasty defense as well, and Bo Nix has been incredibly stable for them. We talked about it, at the beginning of the year, is he's going to be the most NFL-ready rookie, right? And I think he's done really well. But I don't know. I got a coin flip in this one. I'm kind of leaning Chargers only because they're at home.
Yeah,
that's my thing. But I would not be surprised if the Broncos came out and won. I'm looking for this to be a really close game. Anthony Weston says Chargers, but he really wants them both to lose. They could have a tie. You never know.
For sure.
It could end up being a tie. So.
And the Broncos are so good. It's funny, man. The Broncos are so good against the run. They're the second in the league versus the run, only allow about 3 yards per carry. So I think this game is going to be real pass heavy. And I don't know, I might actually switch up, man. If I'm thinking what I'm thinking, this game does go real pass heavy. I kind of trust Herbert a little more than I do Bo Nix. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm flip-flopping between these two teams. It's a lot closer matchup than it would have been last year. You know what I'm saying? Last year I would have been Chargers all the way. But Broncos have been good, man. They've actually been pretty decent.
I know, and I hate that because I was hoping Sean Payton would get some karma, but it's still going this way. Just hasn't happened yet. But this one is a tough one. I could go either way. Definitely be tuning in tonight. Let's go next to the Texans at the Chiefs. The the Chiefs would clinch the number 1 seed with a win and a Buffalo loss.
Going Chiefs in this one. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to lock up the division quick. The only thing that worries me is, obviously we know Patrick Mahomes is going to play, but how beat up is he really? You know what I'm saying? I think that's my only concern. Texans are a good team. They've been finding ways to win a lot of games they probably should have lost, just like the Chiefs this year. Yeah. These teams are very similar to me. You know what I mean? But I got to give the hometown team a little bit of the edge.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going with Kansas City as well. They're geared up. They're trying to lock in that number 1 seed. And I just hope that they're smart. If Mahomes is not looking well, or if the Texans are getting after him with the pass rush, maybe protect him if you can. Run a little bit more, do a little bit more quick throws. But I still think they'll find a way to win this game and come through. Like you said, Texans, they've done great this year. They've kind of overachieved based on the way they played. But I do think this will be a good one. I still feel like Texans fans have flashbacks to that Kansas City playoff game where they were like up by 21 before half, and then they lost by like 21 or whatever. Right. So this will be an interesting one to do that too. So we'll see. Anthony Weston says Patrick is playing. He said he's good. Hollywood Brown is active. I'm interested to see how that opens up the offense a little bit more too. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Also want to welcome Pops into the show. Welcome, thanks for joining us this afternoon. All right, we'll keep this thing moving to another good one. The Steelers at the Ravens. The Steelers can clinch the AFC North with a win, even though they're already in the playoffs. The Ravens can clinch a playoff berth with a win, or if the Colts and the Dolphins both lose. Who you got in this one?
I'm going Ravens. I think they kind of let the Steelers off the hook the last time they played, and obviously it was in Pittsburgh. Just a lot of dummy mistakes, especially on the line, which really helped the Steelers kind of stay in that game. So I think this time around, I think Baltimore wants this. They don't usually, these two teams don't normally sweep the other. You know what I'm saying? Like it's usually split. And with Pittsburgh pick up the first round, I'm taking Baltimore in this one.
Yeah, same. I'm going with the Ravens at home in this one, and yeah, I like them for a split. Most every year, the Steelers were playing a little bit better at that time too. They're hoping to get George Pickens back, which I think changes the offense a lot. Right, Russell Wilson with those deep shots. If they don't have Pickens back, or if he's not fully healthy, that's really going to impact things, and that's going to give the Baltimore defense a little bit of an edge. But I'm definitely going with the Ravens in this one. They got to win this, even though I still feel like the Steelers will end up winning the division. Also, quick programming note, both of those games are on Saturday this week. So the NFL is giving us a little bit of extra games, and they're starting to spread it out because we know over the Christmas break, there's going to be even some Tuesday games and stuff like that. So a lot of cool stuff to look forward to, a lot of football to look forward to. All right, let's keep this thing moving, and let's hit up the Giants at the Falcons with the first start for Michael Penix's career. What do you think about this one?
I'm loving it, man. And honestly, I think the Falcons roll in this one. I think I've been waiting for him to get his start. I think he's going to do very well in this league. And who better to do it against the Giants, right? And I think I almost picked this team for one of our one of our locks, because the Falcons are like an 8.5 point favorite, and it wouldn't be that high if the books didn't think it was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm hoping he comes in here. I loved how Kirk Cousins kind of called him afterwards and gave him all the support because, like you said, kill the elephant in the room, right? Get it done early. So I'm glad he has the support. And I think with that support probably helps him kind of lessen that load off his shoulders a little bit. And I think they get a lot from Bijan Robinson as well, which is also going to help him in the pass game. So I don't know. I'm going Falcons all the way. Yeah,
me too. I'm going with the Falcons in this one. They couldn't have found a better starting spot, right, for him. Right. And I think Coach, Morris did a great job of kind of waiting, and Kirk did just enough, I'm saying, even though they basically limped through that Raiders game and didn't even want to throw the ball at all. Didn't throw the ball on first down the entire game. But they made it through that game, and now they can hand it over to the rookie, and they have 3 winnable games left on their schedule and might make the playoffs still. So I like how they orchestrated it. Did a great job. But, as long as Penix does his thing or does decent, Kirk Cousins' days in Atlanta were very brief. Yep. But as Anthony Weston says, Giants are in tank mode. They're not trying to do much of anything. So I'm definitely going with the Falcons in this one. And quiet is kept. The Falcons actually has played really well on defense to keep them in some of these games where Kirk Cousins was throwing interceptions left to right, late. All right. Next up, we got the Lions versus the Bears at the Bears.
Yeah, this one's tricky for me, man. I want to see kind of how the Lions, they've lost so many major pieces on defense. So the last couple of games they've been in have been really high scoring. Even though they've been against some high scoring teams, like it's just, you worry about that a little bit going into the playoffs when things start to slow down and defense is, important. But I still don't trust the Bears offense. The defense has been super solid, so they really need to fix this up on the offensive side of the ball, but still going with the Lions. Close, though. I think that the Bears are going to the Bears kind of give it to them a little bit on the offensive side of the ball, but in the end of the game, Lions.
Yeah, same. I think the Lions will definitely win this game, but it should be close. Last time we saw these two teams play was Thanksgiving, where the Bears fumbled the bag at the end and ended up getting their coach fired. So we know that they can be competitive with this team, but I do think that the Lions, this is a good bounce back spot for them, kind of shore up some of those things and kind of look and see what life is going to be without those those players that got injured on defense and also without other running backs. So we'll see. The next one up involves your squad. We got the Cardinals at the Panthers.
Nice. I'm picking the Cardinals, man, because every time I pick them, they lose. So I'm going with the Cardinals this week. A little bit of old school witchery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, though, like I know these teams are they're so different, than the last teams that they've played in the past. But for some reason, the Panthers always have the Cardinals number, and we're at home.
Yeah.
So we've really beat up on the Cardinals the last, I'll say, 10 years that we've the years that we played them. So I like our odds. We played really good. Last 3 weeks, besides the game that we played against your boys last week. So I'm really hoping for like a bounce back game, which is kind of weird because we're not very good right now, you know what I'm saying, to say. But I'm picking the Cardinals for the sake of my boys, but I'm really hoping that the Panthers can kind of come through and get at least one more win before the year's over.
Man, I like the reverse psychology. I'm also picking the Cardinals, but I get what you're saying. And it's funny, like, honestly, the Panthers, I can see them being kind of like the Cardinals were the last couple of years, right? Competitive in games, a really short quarterback, a really good running game, you know what I'm saying, a solid defense. So I feel like the Cardinals are kind of the mold for where the Panthers could be going if they progress, but I just think they're not quite there yet. So I got the Cardinals in this one, and they're still technically alive. Anthony reminds us the Cardinals need it, so they're still technically live in the NFC.
Yep.
So we'll see how that plays into things, but it is a long travel. I think it will be a close game. All right, next up, we got the Rams going to the New York Jets.
This one's tricky, and the reason why it's tricky is like the Jets suck, but they just have the personnel to not suck. You know what I'm saying? So it's like at what point, like it's going to be a game where they actually, if they haven't already played it, where they're just going to play up to what their potential should have been. You know what I'm saying? And but I'm still not picking them. I'm still going with the Rams, but this might be that game where the Jets kind of just show up and show out. But I'm going the Rams.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams as well. I think what's really going to be key for them is like their pass rush has been a lot better.
Yeah.
The offense, both offenses last week in that Thursday night game with the Rams and the Niners were kind of sloppy. But I do think that they have enough. The Rams have enough on offense to outduel them, and I do think that they're going to get after Rodgers, a little bit more. So we'll see. I'm going with the Rams on the long road trip, and Pop says Rams better win this one. Yeah, I definitely hope they don't give up their grip on the NFC West because that'd be interesting. But of course, that's the tightest race out there. So
yeah, big time.
All right, next up, we've got the Eagles at the Commanders. The Eagles will clinch the NFC East with a win. The Commanders will clinch the playoff berth with a win and an Atlanta loss and a Rams loss or a Seattle loss. So a couple different scenarios for them. They're not quite there yet, probably a week away. What do you think of this one?
Man, I don't know. I want to pick the Washington upset so bad because, like I said, the Eagles have been getting by it. They've been winning. They beat up on the Steelers a little bit last week. They finally got the passing game going. Especially since the Steelers were so focused on stopping Saquon in the run, they couldn't really do anything against the pass. So it's still hilarious to me because you watch a lot of their passing plays last week. Again, the slant, that's just like their play. Hurts does not really throw the ball downfield very well. You know what I'm saying? It's all letting their playmakers play make. I think I'm gonna take Washington the home for the upset. I might change my mind, but as of right now, I'm going Washington with the upset. They got to lose sooner or later.
Yeah, I feel you. They got to lose sooner or later, but I just feel like they have the Commanders' number. Even when the Commanders were playing better, the Eagles still whooped them a little bit. I know that was at home. I just think the Commanders have come down to earth, and I don't know if it's just they're not surprising teams anymore. I don't know if it's just the schedule has changed. I don't know if it's just that Hail Mary, you know what I'm saying, that made their record look even better than it really was. But I got to go with the Eagles in this one. But I feel you. Like, I think this should be a close game, and the Eagles are due to lose at some point, but just not quite yet for me. I got to stick with the Eagles so far. But next up, we've got the Browns at the Bengals. Battle of Ohio.
Yeah, take the Bengals in this one. They're down to their third. The Browns are down to their third string quarterback, and I know he talked kind of a big game over the weekend, which is good. So you want him to be confident, in himself and things of that nature. But I just don't think it's going to go the way he wants it to. On the flip side, Bengals defense is atrocious. So he's got that going for him. But just not sure it's going to go the way he's going. I think the Bengals spread is a pretty high one, so I'm going Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bengals as well. And honestly, I love the fact that the Bengals defense is trash because that has completely saved me in fantasy this year. I have, the combination of Burrow and Chase, and they've just been lighting it up over and over in these high-scoring shootouts. So I love it. I hope it keeps coming so I can ride them through these last 2 weeks, to another championship. But definitely go with the Bengals in this one. But I do think it'll be a close game, fun game for at least the first half. And then they'll start to pull away. All right, next up, this is going to be an interesting rock'em sock'em one. Will Levis being benched for Mason Rudolph, the Titans traveling to the Colts.
I'm going with the Colts, you know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of times when you go from one bad quarterback to another bad quarterback, it never works out. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're going from a quarterback that's a starter and you got a rookie in the weight that you drafted like high first round, maybe. But Mason Rudolph ain't any better in my opinion. So I'm going with the Colts. I think Anthony Richardson's been playing a little bit, actually a lot better since the benching. And they're at home, so I'm going Colts.
I am as well. Yeah, the Colts just have a really just average, solid team across the board. Right. I think that they should be able to get it done. And the Titans, are still looking for solutions. I feel bad for Levis because he'll make every game I watch him, he'll make 2 or 3 throws. I'm like, this guy is like a bona fide stud. Yeah. And then he'll make 2 or 3 throws where I'm like, what is he seeing? It's like, can he kind of meet somewhere in the middle? I think that's what they're going for with Rudolph, just something that's just stable so they can at least know that they're getting something, decent. But that being said, definitely going with the Colts in this one.
Yep.
Chad agrees as well. All right, next up, we got the Vikings traveling to the Seahawks.
I'm going with the Vikings. I think the Seahawks have actually kind of fallen off towards the end of the season. I feel like they were doing well at the beginning and then showing fight against teams that were probably much better than them. But I'd say over the last 4 or 5 weeks, they've kind of, really fallen off, or maybe, Geno Smith just – I never really – I was happy for Geno, but I never really thought that he was their future, if you will, long term. So I think, next season, if not next season, then the season after, because this year is not that big of a year for quarterbacks either. But I think they're kind of maybe roping it in a little bit. So I'm definitely going Vikings on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the Vikings in this one, but it's tricky because I agree with you about the Seahawks. Like, unless they were playing the Cardinals, they've really been playing kind of subpar. They do have some injuries. Kenneth Walker's not there. Yeah. But they're also a team this year that has burned me every time I've counted them out. They come and have a crazy game, and they still have a little bit of that home field advantage. So I'm going with the Vikings. But, if it's outdoors, it is outdoors. If the weather's sticky, this might be a closer game than we think. Yeah. But I still got to go with the Vikings. And, hey, they're in the mix for winning their division too, so depending on what happens with the Lions. So they've got a lot to play for.
Yep.
All right, next up we've got the Patriots at the Bills.
Yeah, Bills all the way. I'm expecting another really huge kind of Josh Allen type game. The MVP right now is his to lose, even though I think Lamar Jackson is still having a better year. I don't even think he is having a better year right now if we're talking about like who's MVP. But, the way it goes, Lamar Jackson's not going to get another one. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely probably going to go through Josh Allen this season. But, yeah, Patriots, they don't have it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, the Bills are going to stampede them. There's not much to talk about in this game particularly, but I do agree with you as far as the Josh Allen thing. I think it is his to lose this year, especially when we thought, he's lost his wide receivers, his 2 best wide receivers. There might be a drop off this year, and that how well he's played, the stats, and coupled with their record. You know what I'm saying? I think it is his to lose. So we'll see. But my thing is, AFC, don't let them mess around and win a Super Bowl. I love the fact that the Bills don't have a Super Bowl. I hate the Bills in general. So I just don't let them get really too hot rolling in the playoffs. That's my only ask. So Anthony Wesley, your team better do what they're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what it is. It's me for the Ravens in the AFC, man. But
Or your boys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or your side piece. One of them though. Don't let it be the Bills. I don't want to see that. All right, next up we got the Jaguars at the Raiders in the competition for who's going to get the number 1 pick.
I know, this is wild. I feel like I don't know. I know the Raiders are always talking about like they're not in that whole tanking mode. They're going to try to win every single game, but I think I just got I trust Mac Jones more than I trust Desmond Ridder. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going with the Jaguars. They also have a better ground game for me. So if both quarterbacks are sucking, I trust the ground game from the Jaguars, and I trust the receivers more too. You know, what's his name? Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's a beast. Yeah, he's a beast too, man. Tank Johnson, Tank's really good too. I'm loving what I'm seeing from him this year. So taking their ground game.
You know, I'm with you too. I'm actually going with the Jaguars as well. The Raiders burned me last week, man. I thought they were going to do their deal.
They should have. They had it, bro.
They should have. Honestly, that last roughing the passer was a BS call. Really saved the Falcons.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm going with the Jaguars as well because I do think they have more on offense, and I think that the only reason they wouldn't lose or wouldn't win is if they don't want to. So
yeah.
But at the same time, I know. Yeah, Peterson's trying to save his job, even though he's probably gonna get fired regardless. I think he's still trying to get another win on the books. So
definitely, I don't think they keep him no matter what. But they still have their quarterback for the future. They just paid this man, so I kind of like they have no real reason for like the number 1 pick. You know what I'm saying? Like number 2 is perfectly okay with them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up we've got the 49ers going to the Dolphins. A battle of coaches from the same coaching tree. And the 49ers are down to their 4th string running back.
Yeah, it's kind of why I'm going with the Dolphins. I think, the Dolphins had some injuries, you know what I'm saying? I know Tyreek Hill keeps popping up on the injury report every week, but it's just that maintenance of that wrist injury he's been having. But aside from that, for the most part, they're pretty healthy. And San Francisco most definitely is not. I think Miami has a lot more stipulations for the playoffs, you know what I mean, in this game. Even though San Francisco is not technically out either, but I think it's a little bit more so, like Miami needs this win, and they're in Florida, so I think I'm going with the Dolphins.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually going with the Dolphins too. Even though usually, the 49ers coach has something in the bag for all of his former coaches, but this time I feel like they're just run out, and especially all the drama with what's happened on defense and Devondre Campbell and all this other stuff. Like, I just feel like they're just in a bad place right now. And the Dolphins, looking at their roster, like you said, they've had some injuries through the year, but they're predominantly healthy right now. They should be able to handle business at home. So I got to go with them, even though it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem natural.
I feel you.
All right, next up, we got Sunday Night Football. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers visiting America's team.
Yeah, it's wild because it's like we love seeing like the dubs for you guys these last couple of weeks. They just haven't been against good teams. You know what I mean? And not that the Bucs are a great team either, but I feel like, again, that offense is just crazy. It's like we always say, if the defense can't get ahead, they struggle playing from behind. So I'm probably going Bucs in this one for money line. I'd probably pick Dallas for the spread. I think it's 3.5, but I think I'm going to go Bucs in this one.
Yeah, I'm the same, man. Obviously I'm rooting for my boys. Obviously I think that they can be competitive to a certain extent, right? But the Bucs, their passing offense has been really good this year, and Mike Evans now coming back from injury, still going for his 1,000 yards. He's a beast, and the Cowboys they have pieces at cornerback, but they struggle sometimes with those big time wide receivers. And then I'm blanking on the guy's name, but they actually have a sneaky like third receiver the Bucs do this year. And I can't remember his name. If I think of it, I'll throw it out there later.
I know who you're talking about. And yeah, drawing a blank too, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, so I do think this will be a close game, but I think in the long run, it'll be hard for the Cowboys to keep up with that Bucs offense in a high-scoring game. And the Bucs have been kind of putting it together. Last week, they really rolled, so I got to go with them. But last point is Cowboys have been terrible at home this year. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's so weird.
But something weird about Jerry's world this year. So I got to go with the Bucs, even though, obviously I'm rooting for my boys. But
for sure.
We'll see. All right, and then the Monday Night Football capper, we've got the Saints visiting the Packers. The Packers clinch a playoff berth with a win or an Atlanta loss and a Rams or Seattle loss. What you got for this?
Yeah, Green Bay in a blowout. I feel like this is going to be a really blowout win. I actually have the Saints, I think, for least scoring points this week. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be one of those weeks. You know what I'm saying? They're down to, their second or third string quarterback as well. And Packers are just a little bit too strong for them, and they're at home. So I got Green Bay in a blowout.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be cold. It's going to be weird weather, probably up there on a Monday night. Packers are fully healthy, fully loaded, trying to get into the playoffs, and the Saints are bad. But I have to give Spencer Rattler credit, man. I've been saying, I'm kind of a believer-ish in him. Obviously he's in a bad situation with the Saints right now. But last week, man, they were driving to win the game and went for two, got really close to actually getting the dub. So got to give the Saints a little bit of credit for kind of hanging in there, even though they've had a terrible season. So
yeah,
that's what's up. All right, that closes out our 16 money line picks. And we always like to remind everybody at this portion of the show that it's not actual betting advice. It's just our opinions, and we're just throwing it out there. But we've done who we think are going to pick each game. Now we're going to pick 3 locks against the spread, considering the adjusted score based on the Vegas odds. Last week, Strizzy hit the triple with the Bills,
money on it too.
Eagles. Yes. So cashed in the bags. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if we can get them again this week, starting with your first pick.
Yeah, like I said, man, Panthers really do play the Cardinals really very, very well every week. These are 2 different teams. This year, 2 different coaches. They are at home. I'm hoping they can at least bounce back in a competitive way from last week. We got bodied by your Cowboys. So I don't think we win this game, but I'm hoping it's like a last minute field goal or something like that by the Cardinals if the Cardinals do win this game. But 4.5 is a nice little cushion for me for my boys.
I like it.
And then Washington, kind of the same thing. I think they got beat up by the Eagles the first time. I think they're doing well. They're like 9-5 right now, so they still have a good record. They are at home, so I think it'll be I'm hoping it's a little bit more competitive than the last time they played. So hopefully Dan Quinn can write something up, especially with the way some other teams have played them in the last couple of weeks. And again, I like the 3.5. If it was 2.5, I'd probably be taking the Eagles no matter what. But 3.5, division game. I'm hoping Washington can be a little bit more competitive than they were the first time they played.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, I for whatever reason, 8.5 just seems like one of those ones where it's like, if they were going to beat them out that bad, it wouldn't be that high. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping the rookie has a phenomenal game, damn near a perfect game. If anything, hopefully Bijan Robinson goes through and just absolutely destroys them for whatever reason. But I'm hoping for a good first game as a starter for the rookie, man. So I'm taking them. Hopefully they do me justice, do me well.
That's what's up. I like it. So 2 underdogs and a super favorite there. But I'm really hoping the same much success for Penix as he comes through. Last week I hit 2 bags. So I got to take that. You know what I'm saying? 5 out of 6 for the panel is not too shabby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're hitting back at the house. So that's what's up for this week. Man, I might have to change this pick because I saw after I made this pick, about the 49ers being down to their last one. But I think this is a really close game, really pick 'em game. Yeah. I put it out there, so I might just have to go ahead and roll with it, even though I keep waffling between these ones, but for right now, it's the 49ers at 1.5. And again, we make these picks early in the week, so sometimes you just got to ride with it. You know what I'm saying? Ride or die. So that's what we're gonna do. Next up, I got the Rams over the Jets. I think this should be okay. I wish it was 2.5. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Might end up in a push at that 3, but I'll take the Rams. I think if their offense gets rolling, they should be able to handle that pretty easily. And then last up, I've got the Lions at the Bears. I think this could end up being a competitive game, but I think the Lions have a lot to prove. I think they have a lot of people doubting them based on the injuries, so they're going to want to really come out and show out. And I think they got something special for Williams. Unfortunately, they kind of have them figured out. So I'm going with the Lions in the bounce back. They're tired of people talking about how they are falling off the top. So they really need a big performance. So I'm going to go with them in that one. Last up, we'll review our money line records real quick and our locks. So we're not doing too bad. You know what I'm saying? We're hanging in there. Like I said, we're punching back at the house. And we got a couple more weeks to hit some triple bags before the end of the year. But that's what that is. Again, you know what I'm saying? Compete with us on the Yahoo. And then also, oh, my bad. Also, also check us out next week. We're probably going to be doing a Slack show on Monday because Tuesday is Christmas Eve. So we usually do the big shows on Tuesday. But we'll probably do something on Monday where we will do the Pick 'em 2, right? Because there's actually Christmas Day games, and it's really weird how the Christmas Day games they fall into the following week, even though it's going to be like Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very strange, but we're gonna have to get those in early. So check us out probably on Monday. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you ring the bell, where we will do our big show and our pick'ems in a condensed one right before we can sign off for the holidays. So with that being said, do you have any special props you like for this Broncos Chargers game?
This game's tricky, but I think I'm liking, Ladd McConkey's receptions. I'm also liking Cortland Sutton's receptions as well. So, two receivers on both sides who I'm hoping kind of have some big nights tonight. But I don't know. I think from a gambling perspective, this game might be a game I might actually stay away from tonight. You know what I'm saying? Not really feeling it.
Yeah, I feel you too. Like it is a kind of a tough one. It can go either way for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have a high confidence score in for either of those teams.
Sure.
But I do like what you're saying about the Ladd McConkey. He has been an absolute stud. He's way ahead of schedule in terms of like coming in there and just taking over the receiver spot. With all the receivers they lost and them drafting him, we didn't think he would be like the stud man over there, right? He'd be like the slot guy in between, but he's the go-to guy over there, and he's done a great job.
Yeah, he's gonna be the go-to guy for there for a while too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love seeing that. You know what I'm saying? My Georgia boys are doing great. But I like that, and I like the Herbert passing. I think they are going to have to rely on the pass a lot tonight. So that's what it is. That was our Week 16 NFL picks for Secure the Bag. But until next week, we much love, and make sure you get your presents addressed to me in time. You know what I'm saying? and until then, it's your boy A-Dub.
And your boy Shizzy.
Peace.